Well, hello there. I must start as, whoa, that's interesting. Why am I hearing that? Now that's funny. I'm starting a live, and why in the world am I hearing that? Oh, you know what? It's because I have Facebook open. Hang on, let me completely embarrass myself. That's what happened. Isn't that great? This is live, and we grow by doing things that might be uncomfortable. So there you go. I was going to say I could edit that out, but I'm not. So I'm Ed Carr, and I'm excited to, first of all, to try and pronounce the title of my video with impeccable diction. And it's not going to happen. Let me just tell you that in advance. But the title of the video is Develop Your Sixth Sense. Now, it's really hard to say sixth sense, but the premise is worth me stumbling over that pronunciation. So here we go. Tonight I'm heading, in fact, just a few minutes, I'm going to pack up all my keyboards and stuff and go to, visit a church nearby and play with some dear friends for a night of worship. One of the songs we'll be playing is a song I wrote with one of the guys who's there leading the night of worship. And I want to show you some things about the interval of the sixth, and I'll describe it in detail in a moment here, that can bring some beautiful melodic interest to what you create on your keyboard. Now, some of you who watch are trained to have a score or something transcribed in front of you at your instrument, and you play note for note what's written on the page. Amazing, fantastic. I love to do that myself. But I also love to create music spontaneously. That will often be created from a chord progression, something like this. And this is the chord progression that starts the song I wrote with my buddy that we'll be playing tonight. It goes C sharp minor, B, G sharp minor 7, and C sharp minor, B, A2. Now I'm going to show you the scale of E major because it's going to matter as I show you how the interval of the sixth can be used with great benefit in the music you create live. Now, the interval of the sixth is what you might expect it to be. It's got a sixth involved, and the sixth is basically found if you play any note in the scale. I've given you 2 octaves of the E scale at the very bottom there, so you can pick the notes out with me. So for example, if you find the E kind of in the middle of that whole two octaves, you'll see E and then D sharp below it. So I'm going to count down the scale. E, well, I'm going to count down 6 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the interval of the sixth. Now what we're going to be doing is using that interval in below successive notes in a melody. And this is called parallel sixth. It's parallel movement. So for example, if I play an E with a C sharp, E with a G sharp below it, I'm just going to now move around, going right next door to the neighboring notes in the scale and just play a series of parallel sixths. And here's how that sounds. Now that exercise I'm doing right there is a great way to spend some of your time at your keyboard. Play any melody and think in the scale that you're in the key you're in, find the interval of the sixth below it, and you will discover some beautiful melodic textures you can create. Oh my gosh, check it out. I have a comment. This is a big moment for me. Thank you. Whoops, that didn't work. This will work. Look at that. Thank you so much for saying hello. I don't dare pronounce your first name. I'll call you JC. How's that? It's so nice. I met you years ago at the Worship Leaders Conference where you were working on the Motif X8. I'm going to get it back because it goes away after 15 seconds. Glad to see you're still doing well and teaching music. Well, thank you so much. I would high five you or hug you if we were together, but thank you so much. That's really cool to have your comment. And love it. So let me know too in the comments if you would. If you, JC, that's what I'm calling you, or tell me how to pronounce your first name if you want. But tell me if you favor the interval of the six. I'd love to know if it's sort of part of your musical toolkit. All right, so that's how the sixth, whoops. In fact, "Oh Come Let Us" is a perfect spot to play the sixth. So that's a great example of the fact that any melody you know or are improvising, try the interval of the sixth below it and you'll find some beautiful results. Now, here's the specific example I'm going to show you from the song I've written. When we were together writing the song, we came up with this little hook idea to be the intro of the song and the re-intro, and to end the song. It goes like this: 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Nice, simple. And now I'm going to explore how we find all those sixths. And what you'll see, I've got these brackets that will show up for my first note. G sharp is the note below it. The next note is an F sharp. A is the sixth below that. The next note is a G sharp on top. B is the sixth below that. And the next note is a D sharp. F sharp below that. And B, D sharp is below that. Now, that's sort of the academic essentials of what I'm describing, but here's how it sounds musically. I've transcribed it for you so you can see it, and I'll play just the right hand for now so you can just hear the six. Here we go. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now, I just think that's beautiful by itself. Now, I'll add the left hand so you can hear the roots of the progression being defined. So 3, 4. Now, I want to say something I specifically did as I played that time. I only played the notes that you see on the screen. We keyboard players, especially if we have, capability of playing lots of fast things, we might tend to try and get a little of that technique we have in for the music we're playing. And I'll tell you, there's something very significant about restraint as a musician. Just because you can, it doesn't mean you should. So for instance, I could have gone, now I don't mind that, but it's not the essence. It's not the essential material that I want to present. And in fact, the second bar of that notation you see, it's this. Let me see if I can point. No, I can't. Yes, no. This is not working well. Whatever, you get the idea. It's the second measure where it says G sharp, G sharp minor 7. That is a whole note. That means the entire measure should pass without anything else being played. I'm going to count it this time and play that whole note. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I counted out loud on purpose. I believe in a principle or a concept called the internal clock, meaning that all of us who listen to music in this world we live in, for the most part, are hearing music that's got meter. It's got a sort of underlying pulse that continues as we listen. And because we do have that internal clock, if I go, you probably could tell when that next measure or the next C sharp minor was going to happen. Now I see that JC, thank you so much. It's so funny. Yes, you got to see this comment. Yes, as someone who loves throwing dissonance in every chord I play, amen. Knowing when to keep it simple makes those moments pop even more brilliant. Thank you so much. That is absolutely right. I am with you 100% in that. That's awesome. Cool. And he mentioned dissonance. Dissonance, something like that, D sharp in a C sharp minor chord, is valuable not just because it's beautiful and he feels the same way, but when it's resolved, So stress or dissonance, whoops, that was stressful. It was an A sharp and it shouldn't have been there. Dissonance resolves. Yeah, so amazing. Thank you for that comment. That's so great to have comments. All right, so minimal playing is very important. Now I'm going to go a little further with this example, and let's see. Yeah, okay. So what I wanted to show you is sometimes when you're playing parallel 6 like we're doing, so far so the C sharp minor has the E and a G sharp in it already. So those notes belong in the chord, but sometimes the sixth we end up on below our given melody won't be part of the chord. Watch this. Those are all in the chord, and here comes one that's not. Now that's dissonant. It's not like that kind of dissonance, but it's dissonant in the sense that it's not stable. It's not part of the chord that feels sort of restful. Now here he is coming again. Thank you, JC. I love this. You have made my day, my friend. That's so cool that you're commenting and watching. So dissonance. Now here's the thing about dissonance I mentioned a moment ago, that dissonance begs to be resolved. It is tension. It's musical tension, if you will, and it wants to resolve to something more peaceful. What a beautiful illustration of what the Lord brings into our lives, huh? He gives us peace where there was stress. He gives us beauty instead of ashes. It's amazing. So I want to show you what I might do at the end of these 4 bars to resolve that dissonance that's there. So here we go. That's halfway through 3, 4. You can resolve up. I'm going to play the 3rd and 4th measure. Isn't that nice? So by choosing to create dissonance, I now have an opportunity musically to bring a nice sense of resolution to that moment. And one of the greatest contributions we can make, whether we're playing a piece live by ourselves or improvising or playing with a team or an ensemble, one of the greatest things we can do is build in something that contributes to the musical momentum, the musical passing of time, and that dissonance can do that beautifully. The resolution of the dissonance is a great opportunity for that. So again, the second half. Now, another thing I could do, if you look at the notation in the last measure, look at that, I'm getting close to pointing to it. Hey, that's progress. Yeah, right below my hand. There's a D sharp and a B on top, D sharp below it. I'm gonna play around with the D sharp note once I get to that moment, and you'll hear that I can create melodic interest below that top note as I exploit, gosh, this is complicated, as I exploit resolving that dissonance that was created. Here's the dissonance. All right, so now this note, D sharp, I'm gonna play around with some ideas of ways to resolve that dissonance. Here we go. So I created an internal melody, and that's not the only one. There are infinite possibilities for what could be created there. But that's an example of what you could do when the notes of the 6 below your melody don't quite fit the chord that's is implicit in the chart. Good grief. I was looking for comments again. Sorry for being distracted. Oh my gosh. All right, so now another interesting thing that I discovered as I was preparing this notation for today. I'll mention something about what I just played back there a moment ago when the B and D sharp are being played above the A. I did this kind of movement. I'm going to do that again on the 2nd measure this time. Here we go. So I'm using the it's not a dissonance now, but I'm choosing to create a melody that kind of gives a counterpoint to the melody on top. It's kind of a dialogue now. So that's always a nice thing to create. As a solo instrument, it's great because you can approach each kind of each finger, or not each finger, but you can look at your keyboard part as creating independent voices, kind of like a Bach fugue or something contrapuntal that has lines that sort of mimic each other as the piece goes by. Is amazing. But now I'm going to get super detailed here. I've got the D sharp. I'm moving back and forth between D sharp and E. And I know that in a moment, when I go back to measure 3 for the 6th, I'm going to have a G sharp below the E on top. So check out what can happen. So I go. So I went bum, 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 bum. That's an example of those internal melodies. And you may be thinking, good grief, how do you think of all that while you're doing it? Well, I've done it a long time. And I've probably spent probably thousands of hours just playing the instrument and enjoying the fact that so I was consciously thinking, whoops, I advanced my scene. There I am. There's my amazing face again. Yeah, so that's essentially what I wanted to show you today. Give you a quick glimpse of this melody we'll play for our song tonight. And then show you. Now here's another example. I just am full of them, full of something. For the last passage where it goes to the B on top, D sharp below it. I know I can resolve this D sharp dissonant note down to the C sharp. And now look what happened. That's a 6th. So, and you can end up creating a 6th below the D sharp as well. In fact, I'm going to put the, whatever, I'll just illustrate that. Yeah, and sometimes you have to play, not have to, sometimes the interval of the, whoops, there I go again. Are you enjoying all these scenes I'm showing you? I didn't need to show you. Oh, well. But thank you, JC. I've got to thank you again. I don't know if you're still there. But I love it. I love that you responded today. And for anyone who watches this later, one of the, if I can, what would you say, illustrate any kind of takeaway to you as musicians, is that there's a whole universe, literal universe of possibilities within the chords we're playing. If I could sit with my friend JC, who's been commenting here today, if we could sit with this C sharp minor, B, G sharp minor, C sharp minor, B, A2 progression, I can guarantee we won't play the same thing, because our musical journeys have been different. He has stylistic preferences that are different. We're all different. The point is we're all different. And let yourself venture into some of these places where you don't quite know what you're going to play. Recognize that in the key of E, there are 7 notes. As long as you stick to those 7 notes, whatever you play, it might sound like it needs to resolve. Nothing wrong with that. What is dissonance? It's a note that wants to resolve. It's creating tension. So try things, please. And I can promise with absolute confidence that if you spend 30 minutes a day for a week or a month trying something like this, where you take a progression that you're familiar with and and practice it again and again. And I want to read one of these comments. Maybe this is the, but I'm gonna show you. He said, "You were a big inspiration musically. You have no idea. Thank you for doing God's work so diligently." Now, I will tell you that made my day. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Lord, for that you use our efforts. And what a blessing that is. Now, as we end, and I need to take a screenshot of that, that comment. That means so much to me. Thank you so much. But I call it playing out. I'm going to play this out with some examples of the sixth thing. And yeah, so say hello in the comments if it's after the fact, but I appreciate you so much. And thank you for watching anytime you do. God bless.